aim of this presentation is to make you understand the importance of data management in various fields of the museum sector and the added value it can create by increased productivity efficiency by data extraction too. The objectives of this presentation are to learn you practical aspects of data management process in a museum environment, its planning, benefits, and strategic thinking. Understand and explore tools on data management procedures and how they can be adapted in a museum environment. This presentation is about providing you with practical understanding and capacity building necessary for museum professionals. In this presentation, we shall introduce you the terms of data and collection management systems. The topic of this presentation is different data management tools for museum employees. At the end of this presentation, you will be able to explore effective methods of managing information, examine the use of software applications regarding data, information, and digital content management. The terms and keywords you are going to be familiar to in this presentation are data. It is a collection of facts such as numbers, words, measurements, observation, or even just description of things, and collection management system, computer software that is used by collection staff. As we already said, collection management systems are computer software. They are used by collection staff such as registrars, collection managers, and curators. They want to record information, for example, object locations, provenance, curatorial information, conservation reports, professional appraisals, and exhibition histories. After being recorded, all information is then also accessed and used by other institutional departments such as education, membership, accounting, and administration. But what kind of information is stored in collection management systems? First, object entry. It is the management and documentation information and tasks related to objects entering the museum, for example, acquisition or loan records, receipts, record of the reason for the deposit of the object, and a record of the object's return to its owner. Then it's acquisition. It is the management and documentation of objects added to the institution's collection, for example, accession numbers, catalog numbers, object name or title, acquisition date, acquisition method, and transfer of title. Inventory control. It is the identification of objects for which the institution has a legal responsibility. For example, loan objects and objects that have not been accessioned. The information that is recorded includes object location and status. Location and movement control. It is the records of an object's current and past locations within the institution's premises. For example, date of movement and authorization for movement. It is recorded so that the object can then be located. Then its catalog description. It describes and identifies objects, for example, creator or maker or artist, date or dates of creation, place of creation, provenance, object history, research on the object, and connections to other objects. Then it's conservation management. It is the management of information about an object's conservation from a curatorial and collection management perspective. In other words, conservation requests, examination records, condition reports, records of preventative action, and treatment histories. Then it's risk management. It records potential threats to collection objects, such as documentation of specific threats, records of preventative measures, disaster plans and procedures, and emergency contacts. Also, there is insurance management and valuation control. It is documentation of insurance needs for objects for which the institution is responsible. It includes loaned objects. The monetary value of objects for insurance purposes, in other words, the names and contact information of appraisers, and the appraisal history. Exhibition management. Objects, exhibition or display. In other words, exhibition history and documentation of research done on an object for an exhibition, and information from the system on a museum's website or in an online exhibit. Dispatch, shipping, transport. It records objects that have left the institution premises and been transferred to a different location. Such information is location information, packing notes, crate dimension, authorizations, customs information, and documenting the means of transportation, including courier information. Next is loaning and borrowing. It records the temporary transfer of responsibility of an object from the museum to another institution or vice versa. In other words, loan agreements, loan history, records of costs and payments, packing lists, and the records of overdue loans. Finally, the accessioning and disposal. It records objects being deaccessioned and leaving the institution collection. This information can be transfer, sale, exchange, or destruction and loss. This presentation was about providing you with practical understanding and capacity building necessary for museum professionals. Now that you've finished watching it, you should be able to explore effective methods of managing information, examine the use of software applications regarding data, information, and digital content management.